Today from Detroit, it's the Red Sox and Tigers wrapping up this 4-game series. The Sox up 2-1 after a dramatic rain-filled victory in Game 3. Boston now 5-1 on this big trip. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Comerica Park. Dry here today. I'm Dave O'Brien. Delighted to be joined by Jerry Remy. Garen Austin coming along in just a moment. Jerry, when we left the ballpark at about 12:30 this morning, we were all convinced that Eduardo Rodriguez would make the start. He told John Farrell that hamstring is still tender, so it's Henry Owens today.
Yeah, this came a big surprise, I think, to a lot of people, including John Farrell, because it's 5:45 last night. It was when Rodriguez told Farrell he couldn't go today, and that kind of caught everybody by surprise because they thought he was going to be ready to pitch in this ball game. But getting the call was Henry Owens, and what a night it's been for him. He's been traveling all over the place trying to get to this ballpark today to make the start. You see the numbers down in Pawtucket so far this season, 8-6, but the problem have been the walks. 74 walks you can see in 119 innings, and he can't do that at the major league level. That has been his problem when he's come up to pitch for the Red Sox, nibbling around and not going after hitters, and he has to do that today because it's a pretty patient club here with the Detroit Tigers, and if he starts walking people early, they'll just be up there taking, and trying to get more walks.
Kind of amazing with that ERA of 5. The Red Sox have won all 3 of his starts this season, although he has not won. So on the mound opposing him will be Justin Verlander, who is on some kind of roll. The former Cy Young Award winner really clicking right now. So a tough test for the Red Sox as they go for the series victory in Detroit. Garen Austin with more in a moment. Buy BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. The 2017 Kia Sportage. Visit anykiadealers.com to learn more. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. Subaru Retailers of New England. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Back in Detroit, home of the Tigers, Red Sox and the Tigers wrapping up the series. We bring in Garen Austin now with more on Eduardo Rodriguez, unable to go today. Garen?
Well, thanks, Obi. It came as a huge surprise last night when, after his post-game comments, John Farrell announced that Henry Owens would get the start today instead of Eduardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez exited his last start with hamstring tightness, but all signs pointed to him being ready to go today. But after yesterday, he said he didn't feel 100%.
Yes, day by day I feel better and better, you know what I mean? But I don't feel ready for tomorrow. It's just like it's getting better, but I think it was like too short and like just 4 days. So it was too short for going to the game tomorrow again. Today was better, but not like to get 100% to pitch in the game.
David Ortiz has had quite a weekend. On Friday, he went yard in a ballpark he just loves to swing in. They said goodbye to him, his last appearance here, but he wasn't done yet, because last night, once again, number 29 for Big Papi, on fire, as always, at Comerica. By Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. Well, plenty of sunshine all of a sudden here in Detroit. Last night, a rainy evening. We had two separate rain delays. The first one before the game, the second one right in the middle of the ball game for 2 hours and 31 minutes. And Jerry, if they had just started the game and played it without any interruption, it would have been one of the fastest games all season for the Red Sox. 2 hours and 36 minutes.
Well, Pomerantz was really pitching well for the Red Sox, throwing a lot of strikes, and a lot of the Tiger hitters were swinging at the first couple of pitches they saw, and it's a shame that he had to leave the game. But when you have a rain delay over an hour, I asked John Farrell about that today, and he said, yeah, you get to that hour spot, and it's time to get him out of the ball game.
So Verlander leading them on to the diamond. The Tigers taking the field. And last night, David Ortiz continued to have the time of his life. Before he came up and hit a home run, handing out bubble gum and pausing for selfies. And this went all over the place. The photograph with the kid. And then he went up and ripped another home run as he got a bit of a hanger and crushed it to right field. So David doing everything to entertain.
Enjoying his last year. There he points to the group that he gave the bubble gum and all that stuff to, and just having a ball.
Time for the Red Sox lineup now, brought to you by BuyAToyota.com. Toyota's website for deals. Dustin Pedroia is raking. He has hit in 11 in a row. Bogarts, Ortiz, and Betts will follow. Hanley Ramirez at first. Jackie Bradley in center. Sandy Leon back behind the plate. Travis Shaw at third, and Andrew Benintendi in left field. And batting night against the Tigers starter, presented by GMC. Verlander is 12-7. He is 5-1 since July 1st with an ERA of 2.01.
The Tigers defense is brought to you by DraftKings, and they have third best in the American League. Only 60 errors on the season. Casey McGee will be at third base. Eric Ibar, the shortstop. Ian Kinsler at second. Jared Saltalamacchia gets a start at first. Left to right, Justin Upton, Cameron Maben just coming off to the Sabre list today. J.D. Martinez and James McCann doing the catching for Verlander.
Here are the umpires, brought to you by ToyotaCertified.com. Trip Gibson behind the plate. Scott Barry is at first. Jerry Lane at second. Brian O'Nora, the umpire, at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory back Toyota Certified used vehicle right now.
Buenas tardes, amigos.
And the weather, as mentioned, a very nice day, 74 degrees. The wind is right to left at 14 miles per hour, and no rain in the immediate forecast. So Verlander, now 33 years old. He's been rolling, ranking second in the American League in strikeouts, to take on Pedroia, Bogaerts, Ortiz here in the first inning. Red Sox trying to win the series and go to 6-1 on the road trip. That'll be in there for a strike.
We saw Verlander back at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. He got the win in that ball game, a 4-2 win against Boston, and he looked much improved. That fastball had pretty good velocity on it again. Saw the curveball and some changeups.
Yeah, his velocity's up this year. That one 93. Be interesting to see if there's any carryover from last night between Dustin Pedroia and Trip Gibson, home plate umpire, because Pedroia was quite annoyed with him when Gibson rung him up as the first base umpire on a check swing, and continued to give him the business a little bit when he went out to play second base. A little chopper back to Verlander, and one man gone.
Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about situations like that. You know, you have one last night. It was not a major argument by any means. Pedroia just not agreeing with the call of Gibson, but usually that's forgotten the next day, unless you have a pitch that's called against you that you don't think's a strike, and it is called a strike. Then it seems to heat up again.
It sounds like it may have happened to you a couple of times.
Yes, it does carry over.
Bogaerts now 313, 14 home runs, 69 runs batted in, and looking like the Xander Bogaerts of the first 2 or 3 months of the season after a lengthy slump. He was 2 for 4 last night and 4 for 9 the last 2 games.
Well, the nice thing about last night, he pulled one and he hit one to the opposite field, both on the line.
Ortiz on deck, and the 0-1. And he popped it up, foul out of play. Verlander as tough to hit as ever. He's allowing opponents just a .213 batting average, a whip of 1.05, so he's not walking anybody, throwing a lot of strikes. And as Jerry pointed out, looking like the old Cy Young version, except maybe a couple of ticks off on the fastball, but he can still get it to 96. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Bogaerts. So a 6-game hitting streak for Xander. Dustin Pedroia has an 11-gamer. David Ortiz a 7-gamer. Now Bogaerts will get time from Gibson.
Yeah, shakes off the slider, shakes off the fastball away, the fastball in. He wanted to go to the curveball, and now he wants him to go through the signs again.
He's working with James McCann behind that plate. Here's the 1-2.
Fastball away.
95 on the radar gun.
Everything elevated too, with the exception of one slider he threw down in the dirt.
With a win here in Detroit and a Toronto loss, the Red Sox would take over first place in the AL East by half a game.
Changeup.
Chop foul.
So we basically have seen all of his pitches here in the first couple of batters: his fastball, his curveball, his slider, and his changeup. Shaking off a lot of pitches, the last 2 pitches he's made to Bogaerts. Back to the slider.
On the 1-2. And he popped it up on the left side of the diamond. McGee and Ibar there, and Ibar calls him off to make the grab for the second out. You look at the AL East standings. The Orioles are starting to tumble a little bit. Certainly feels like that. Their pitching has really gone south. Red Sox a half game behind Toronto. Toronto taking on Cleveland again today. They've played some wild games this season. And now David Ortiz, 321, 29 homers, 97 RBIs. And he seems to get a real good look at Verlander. 344 in his career with 2 home runs against the righty. Big Papi 3 for 4 with a 2-run homer last night at Comerica. He's going to be sad to leave here. That's a strike.
Matt David taken all the way there, expecting something away from him, just faking a bunt down the third base line. Really had no intention of dropping it down there.
David has homered twice here in this series. The 1-1 from Verlander. A bullet to right field. He socked it into the corner. They'll get to the wall on one bounce. Ortiz trying for second. Martinez up and gunning the slide, and he beats it with a double. Yeah, he likes this park a lot.
I'll tell you, it's been amazing to watch him in this series. Every time they seem to come inside, whether it be a fastball or a breaking ball, he's cleaning it out. That time it's the fastball inside. It's elevated a little bit above the belt, but Ortiz able to get the bat head out, and he stretches this into a double again in a scoring position with 2 outs. So his success against Verlander continues.
I wasn't sure he'd be going because we've seen him probably 10 or 12 times this season hit a shot like that into the fence and pull up with a single, so the feet must be feeling pretty good today.
Yeah, especially with 2 outs, he gives it a little extra effort to get in the scoring position.
Mookie Betts with a little flair into left center. Here comes Maben, and that retires the side. So the Red Sox do not bring in the run after the double. Bottom of the first inning. Here's their lineup brought to you by New England Chevy dealers. Ian Kinsler starts it. Cameron Maben in center field. Miguel Cabrera the DH. JD Martinez in right. Then it's Justin Upton, Casey McGee, and James McCann. Jared Saltalamacchia is manning first base today. And Ibar, the shortstop and number 9 hitter against the Red Sox starter. Presented by New England Audi dealers. Henry Owens called up to replace Eduardo Rodriguez today. He was supposed to start last night for the Paw Sox, and luckily the word got to John Farrell from Erod in time, about an hour and 20 minutes before Owens was supposed to throw his first pitch. No wins, no losses, an ERA at 5.11 coming in at the big league level, and the first one to Kinsler. In for strike 1.
Yeah, Owens is not a hot thrower. You know, his fastball will be 88 to 90. He's got that sweeping breaking ball. He's got the changeup. The problem he's had is control. That's the changeup right there at 78 miles an hour.
He's making his 4th start of the season for the Red Sox. 12 1/3 innings, 13 walks. So a problem indeed. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And a lot of walks also down at Pawtucket. Not a lot of hits allowed, but a lot of walks.
Cameron Maben, who's just off the DL, is on deck. And the 2-1. And that'll be a ball. So already a 3-ball count. Henry, 24 years old, a tall one at 6'6", about 220. And he walks the first man he faces.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. They are 6th in the American League with 65 errors on the season. Travis Shaw gets the start at third base. And the Bogarts, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. Hanley Ramirez, the first baseman. Left to right, Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Mookie Betts. And Sandy Leon gets the start behind the plate.
Maben, the center fielder, next. 325 with 2 home runs. They have missed his energy. Just came off the 15-day disabled list today. He was disabled because of a sprained thumb. Kinsler, a man who can run with 13 stolen bases.
A good percentage, too. Only caught 3 times.
Cabrera on deck. And Owens again will throw over.
He's got to make Kinsler stop at first base. Kinsler continued to get that slight walking lead, and once Owens saw that, he figured he better get that ball back to first base to make him stop.
For Owens, his first major league start since way back on the 7th of May. And he deals a strike. In that start, he went just 3 innings and he walked 6. Red Sox won the game in Chicago over the White Sox. The Red Sox sent him to the minor leagues right after that. And he's been there ever since until this afternoon. Here comes the 0-1 to Maben. And he drills a strike at 90 right on the corner.
Yeah, much better location there. Fastball down inside corner, down at the bottom of the strike zone at 90 miles an hour.
Tigers have had a lot of injuries over the last several weeks. Swing and a miss, and down he goes for strike 3. First K in the book for Owens. Let's get down to Garen Austin.
Thanks, OB. Well, what a whirlwind it's been for Henry Owens, who found out around 6 o'clock last night that he was being scratched from his start in Scranton. He drove to Philadelphia, where he stayed the night, got a 6:30 a.m. flight out here, landed a little before 9 o'clock, and came right to the ballpark. Short notice, quick travel, and a 1:10 start. But guys, Owens was in the clubhouse today, joking around with teammates, looking very relaxed.
I saw him working on his big bowl of Cheerios at about 9:30, 9:45. Only about 4 hours of sleep, right? Kinsler on at first base. And here's Cabrera.
Well, get used to it, because that's about all the Red Sox been averaging on this road trip, is about 4 hours of sleep.
Exactly right. Been that kind of trip. And then it's gone awfully well for the Red Sox, except for that one gut punch of a loss on Thursday. .27 home runs for Cabrera, 78 runs batted in. Over 2,400 hits in his career, and he's only 33. And the left-hander with a 1-1. A strike.
That's a good spot. If he can keep his fastball down in that area, he may not get beat up too bad in this ball game. Keeping that fastball down along with his breaking ball. Cabrera just taking that low strike.
I think the Red Sox hoping for 5 decent innings out of him today, to be candid. Kinsler skipping back in again. J.D. Martinez, the on-deck hitter.
Yeah, you see most guys at first base, get out to their lead and then become stationary. Not Kinsler. He continues to try to grab every inch that he possibly can. And that drives pitch is crazy. You'll see him. He'll take that jab step, another one. And then Owens has to throw to first base to make him stop.
Step off and throw, scooped up by Ramirez. Not a good toss there by Henry, but dug out by Hanley. So he's been a good base stealer. And Owens obviously very concerned about him.
I would be more concerned at this stage of the game with the guy at the plate than the guy at first base.
The guy at the plate is 435 major league home runs. The all-time leader among Venezuelan-born players in that category, and about 7 or 8 others. 1-2, runner goes. Swung on and missed. Here's the throw down. The tag. Got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. As Kinsler is done in on the chuck by Leon. After 1, no score in Detroit. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Wins leaders in the majors since '09. Verlander is number 1, even more than Kershaw. 123 victories. Not a bad rotation right there.
Hey, you'd take that for a top 5, wouldn't you?
And Ramirez to start the second inning. 0-0 in Detroit. Bright sunshine again. A lot of Sox fans driving from many miles around to get here. Wherever they can get tickets. Hanley swinging a very good bat, although he was 0 for 3 last night. He's hitting .280 with 16 homers, 76 RBIs. He's had a good series. 5 for 11 with 5 RBIs. In tight for a ball.
Kind of a strange curveball there from Verlander. He dropped down a little bit to the side. The arm angle to the side, and just kind of a rolling breaking ball that time, not the one that he normally throws.
He's been really good since like the 1st of July. He's been a different pitcher. Popped up into right center. Kinsler out. He wants it. 1 man away. Since July 1st. And in that span, he pitched against the Red Sox and won at Fenway Park. He's 4-0, 1.69 ERA. That's what he did in July to win the American League Pitcher of the Month. So 1 gone for Jackie Bradley. 278 with 21 homers. And they put an Ortiz kind of shift on Jackie, although Kinsler not quite as deep into right field.
Yeah, David does not have the speed, obviously, that Bradley has, so you have to adjust his shift accordingly to who's running.
Sandy Leon on deck. Sandy did not play last night, but got off to a great start in this series a couple of days ago. The 2-0 from the right-hander. There's another shot down into the corner, hooking, but a foul ball. A couple of good swings early by the lefty hitters.
Yeah, Jackie Bradley a little bit out in front of that. That time it was a changeup on a 2-0 count, which kind of surprised Jackie, and he pulled it into foul territory.
He does have a home run in the series. His only hit, though, he's 1 for 9 here in Detroit. The 2-1 from Verlander. Fouled away. MLB.TV Premium is everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams in true high definition on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Nothing game here in the top of the second inning. And he left that one high. 3-2 on Jackie.
Missing his spot by quite a bit. That was supposed to be a fastball in. Instead, it just sails up and away from Bradley.
Here comes the payoff pitch from Verlander. High fly to left center field, and Maven moving over. 2 down. Hey, Jackie was the guy who went up against the fence last night when Upton cranked that shot off the center field wall that everybody in the ballpark thought was gone and had tied the game.
Yeah, including Upton himself, his first base coach, his dugout. I think a lot of the Red Sox, Kimbrel, myself, that ball was hit so hard and so deep. It looked like it had a chance to get out of here and just hit the top out of the wall.
Sandy Leon, 383 with 7 home runs. Would have tied the ball game. Got to second representing the tying run, and then Kimbrel locked it up and put the game into the win column, but it was oh so close to getting out here to the deepest part of the ballpark, the 420 mark. A shot, and for all the world, Upton believed the ball was gone. He was rounding first base, already celebrating.
It's kind of a funny scene last night as he makes contact, and certainly when it leaves the bat, it looks like it has enough. The dugout thinks so. Kimbrel thinks so. Jackie Bradley jumps and hits the top of the wall. There's the home run celebration, and all of a sudden he realizes, wait a minute, I've got to get to second base.
That was at about 12:11 a.m. something like that, so we forgive you if you did not see it live. It might be the first time you've seen that. After the rain delays in about 5 hours here, in for a strike on Leon. He didn't think so.
Now, usually you don't see changeups that high call strikes.
2-2. And 2 out with the bases empty for the Sox here. High fly foul, way out of play.
You know, we should mention Sandy Leon throwing that run around Kinsler at second base to end last inning. He's over 40% now in throwing out base runners, so it's not just his offense. I mean, 40%, that's a huge number for catches.
10 for 24. And since he joined the Red Sox in 2015, it's over 44%. He's a little underrated there. Into the dirt.
There's the strikeout on the fastball by Cabrera, and Leon with that bullet to second base to get Ian Kinsler, who had been dying to run the whole time he was at first base.
Ausmus thought about a challenge and decided not to. 3-2 pitch. That'll be popped up but fouled back off to the left out of play.
I'll tell you, it's very early in the ball game, and it's just a quick observation, but Verlander to me doesn't look nearly as difficult right now as he did the last time we saw him in Boston. He's missing a lot of spots with a number of pitches.
He's put up 7 consecutive quality starts. Coming into this one. 3-2, a little blooper toward left field, dropping along the line, and a fair ball. Sandy Leon heading for second base. He wants a double. Here's the throw, the tag, and he is out. Bit of a collision there on the slide, but he's cut down, trying to extend that into 2 bases. So the Red Sox have had a couple of hits in the early going against Verlander, but nothing to show for them. He is cut down at second base on the throw. Nothing in the second. Honoring the '86 Sox in game number 123. The Red Sox would lose to the Indians 5-4. Wade Boggs went 2 for 4. He drove in 2 runs for Boston. Here we have no score going to the bottom half of the second inning. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, Garen Austin from Comerica Park. Last game between these two clubs this season.
Now Sandy Leon on that bloop down the left field line thought he was Mookie Bolt instead of Sandy Leon. He was thrown out by a big margin at second base.
J.D. Martinez to lead off the second. That Bolt is incredible. He did it again. 3 gold medals.
It's unbelievable. I just love watching him run. I mean, he just toys with everybody.
Yeah. I love the pose, too.
Yeah.
Little kids doing it. Martinez with 18 home runs. He is really hot with a bat right now. He's hit safely in 11 in a row. He's 20 for 44. So Owens has to be very careful with a home run hitter swinging it this good. His birthday, of course. Upton on deck. McGee after him. McGee is the guy who raced down the line and made the throw, the peg that cut down Sandy Leon at second base.
Yeah, and the slide at second base by Leon, it was spikes up high, and he got the eye bar, looked like in the chest area, and was putting on the tag.
Swing and a miss. That one disappeared to Martinez, and he strikes out. 3 consecutive strikeouts by Owens.
There's that slide. Now watch that left foot come up high, gets him with the foot, and then gets him with the knee right in the chest. So that's a painful tag out right there by Eric Ibar.
That Escobar, not a big guy. Pretty good shot there by Sandy Leon. That'll set up Justin Upton, who had been in a long slump and was looking terrible at the plate. They sat him for a few games. He was 1 for 30 and like 5 for 50. And he came back last night. We showed you what he did in the 9th inning with that double off the wall. He went 2 for 4, so it may have worked. Pirates did that same thing recently with Andrew McCutchen, who had been in a bad slump. He came back and started tearing the cover off the ball after that mental health break.
Now, sometimes you get yourself so buried in a slump that you just don't know what direction to go in. You're listening to everybody. Everybody's giving you different advice, and sometimes, even though the player doesn't want to, it's a good idea to get away for a couple of days.
He has some power, 13 homers. Henry Owens walked the first man he faced. That was not a good sign when he walked Kinsler, but then he struck out Maben, Cabrera, and J.D. Martinez. And he drops in a breaking ball.
A surprise pitch right there. 2-1 count, and quite sure Upton was looking for fastball, didn't got it. Got the curveball from Owens for the strike to now run it 2-2.
McGee on deck. The 2-2 to Upton. Fouled off the catcher. Red Sox are about to head to Tampa Bay in a 4-game series against the Rays. There's some must wins on that part of the trip, the very end of the road trip. David Price to go on Monday against his old team. Tuesday's starters still a bit up in the air. Swung on and fouled right there at home plate. Rick Porcello will go Wednesday, and Drew Pomerantz on Thursday. Pomerantz was really good again yesterday.
Yeah, very good curveball last night from Pomerantz, and throwing strikes, getting ahead of hitters, working very quickly. Had a good rhythm going in that game last night.
Now we'll see if it'll be Clay Buchholz on Tuesday or Stephen Wright. Stephen was to throw a bullpen today, trying to come back from that shoulder problem because of the dive back to second base at Dodger Stadium. Here's the 2-2. Waved at and missed. He was not close on that one. That is 4 consecutive strikeouts. Time now for a look at the road ahead, presented by People's United Bank. So the 4 coming up at Tampa Bay before the Sox return to Fenway on the 26th against Kansas City. That's a Royal team playing very, very well. They've won 7 straight.
And the last coming on a changeup, the good changeup away, well off the strike zone, but chased by Upton, who strikes out for his 143rd time this season. The other 3 strikeouts coming with fastballs.
Casey McGee, a .264 hitter with no home runs since they brought him up very recently from the minor leagues, but a veteran of about 5 or 6 big league clubs. Nothing in the second inning. Henry Owens getting the start.
All right, nice changeup again there by Owens at 79, and you know, it's teasing. It's not over the plate. It's on the outside part of the plate and just off the outside edge, but he's getting swings on it.
And the lefty's 1-1. Popped him up out of play. Foul ball. Make it 1-2. So he's on the verge of striking out the side in the second and making it 5 straight Ks. McCann would hit next. He belted a home run here last night. Two. Red Sox starting pitching has been exceptionally good. in the month of August, a 245 earned run average. That leads the American League for this month. Also just a 205 opponent's batting average by the starters. 3-2. You know, these Tiger hitters looked at the scouting report. They were going to try and be very patient with Owens with his walk history, the 3-2. And that is outside, so he's walked his second man. That comes with 2 down. Today's suits are designed by Joseph Abboud, custom made in the United States of fine Italian fabrics, available at Men's Warehouse. McCann to step in at 209, 10 homers, 39 runs batted in. He can swing and miss, but also has pretty good power. There are strikeouts to be had in this lineup, especially with Victor Martinez resting today. Red Sox come in having won 8 of the last 9. Cross for strike 1. And since the 3rd of July, Boston is 26-16. It's the 3rd best record in the majors over that span, behind Toronto and the Cubs. McGee with a short lead at first base and 2 down. A ball and a strike on McCann.
You speak of McCann, he's one of only 3 members of this ball club, the starting lineup, that have faced Owens in the past. Kinsler, J.D. Martinez, and McCann. McCann only 1 at bat against him. Everybody else seeing him for the first time.
The 1-1 pitch. Just a little bit high. Henry's teammates are wondering when they'll get in on it, because all the batters have either walked or struck out. Two walks and 4 strikeouts. The 2-1. That evens up the count. Saltalamacchia would be next.
Big confidence here early in his changeup, throwing in a hitter's count, 2 ball 1 strike, and McCann clearly sitting on a fastball, doesn't get it, gets the changeup down and in. It was supposed to be away, but still gets no contact. See what Leon calls for here. Back outside with the fastball.
And a 2-2 coming. And he got him. He strikes him out. Still all walks or strikeouts. He fans 3 here in the 2nd inning. 1 man left. It's a 0-0 game. new food-themed episode of NESN Clubhouse. Catch the encore presentation today following our Red Sox coverage. David Ortiz sharing the recipe, one of his favorite meals. Plus, we make a salad with the greens from Fenway Farms. NESN Clubhouse presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. On to the third inning, 0-0. Travis Shaw will lead it off against Verlander. 252 with 14 home runs for Travis. 1 out of 5 against Verlander in his career.
Playing time's been cut back a little bit for Travis Shaw recently.
Now he's 2 for 10 on the road trip. 1-1 the count. Travis did give the Red Sox the lead with an RBI single on Wednesday night. His 8th go-ahead RBI of the season. One and two. Benintendi on deck, and then Pedroia.
Much better curveball that time from Verlander than the first one we saw in the ball game tonight that he got underneath of. Or this afternoon, I should say.
Verlander now in his 11th season. There's a high fly to center field. Maben backing up. And now he'll make the catch straight away. Red Sox season ticket holders experience the best seats, price, and benefits Fenway has to offer, including potential postseason opportunities. For information on becoming a season ticket holder, visit redsox.com or call 877-RED-SOX-9. ...2011, some season for Verlander. He was both the Cy Young and the AL MVP winner. As he takes on Benintendi for the first time. He edged out Jacoby Ellsbury for the MVP by going 24-5 with a 240 earned run average. He's had some great seasons for Detroit. 19-9 in 09 with 269 strikeouts, 18-9 in 2010. The 2-strike pitch. Couldn't get him to chase it. Pedroia up next. Benintendi 4 for 22 on the road trip, so he has cooled off. 2-2.
Seen 2 curveballs followed by 2 fastballs from Verlander.
Now facing a pitcher who has truly been one of the greats in the game over the last decade. And a 2-2. Fouled away. Now you're watching him on TV and you're watching him pitch in the playoffs and big games and World Series, and then you face him for the first time. What's that like?
Yeah, it's you know, well, for a guy like Benintendi who's had to watch him, you know, until you get into that batter's box, you don't really know. I mean, you look at guys that look awesome on television, and to you, they may not look that great.
Popped him up. Foul off third, headed toward the dugout and over the top of the dugout.
It's amazing, you know, because that's a great question, Dave. I remember watching, you know, from the minor leagues, major league pitching, and, you know, you look at it from a different perspective, obviously, when you're in the minor leagues looking up to these guys, and then all of a sudden you're up there and you're facing these guys that you watched on TV, and you go, wait a minute, you know, he looked better on TV, but there's other guys that look, you know, better than what they looked on TV. So it's all what you feel comfortable with. Going to try to go inside with the fastball again.
I think in the end he was impressed. As Benintendi goes down on strikes, and they're 2 away.
Yeah, the thing about Verlander, you know, and he doesn't do it as much as he once did in his career. He can go from 92 to 98. Well, I don't think he gets as high as that anymore until maybe his last inning, when he can pump it up there at 96, 97 miles an hour. But he's been consistently around 93 with the fastball.
Well, there's another guy who has to be impressed with Verlander, Dustin Pedroia. He's 0 for 1 here today and just 2 for 22 lifetime. So a hitter of this caliber, and granted, Verlander's been one of the best, but he has really had Pedroia's number. Dustin has hit safely in 11 in a row. as he looks at a ball. Pedroia 1 for 4 and scored a run last night in a Red Sox victory, which came right down to the bloody end again. But the bullpen hung on. Here's the 2-0.
I missed a spot badly there on the 2-0 count. Wanted a fastball outside. Got the fastball up, way out of the strike zone and inside to Pedroia. Really missed the spot by a lot.
Xander Bogaerts, the on-deck hitter, and a 3-0. A strike.
I'll tell you right now, Gibson behind the plate is calling some high strikes in this game early. If he stays consistent with it, that's fine.
A hitter's count for Pedroia. And up and in past the shoulder, so he winds up walking him, and the first walk issued by Verlander.
Yeah, again, not sharp here with the control at all as he wants to go to the slider. It really does nothing except come out of his hand spinning, and it's up and in on Pedroia for the 2-out walk.
Well, the Red Sox certainly hoping that Xander Bogaerts is out of his slump. It looks that way. He is 0 for 1 today with a pop to short, but he has a 6-game hitting streak. And he has recorded multiple hits in consecutive games for the first time since July 23rd and 24th. So it's been a little while. Two for 4 last night. And that included a double. Toronto has jumped out in front 2-0 on Cleveland there in the 3rd inning. Every time you turn around, the Blue Jays have an early lead. Red Sox trying to catch him. They're a half game behind them right now.
It's been an exciting series between Toronto and Cleveland.
It really has. Right now they're on track to meet in postseason play. They play a 19-inning game as well. Here's the 1-0. A shot to right center field. There goes Maben giving chase to the alley, and he runs it down to retire the side. No runs, a walk, 1 man left. We are still scoreless here in Detroit on getaway day for the Red Sox. Charlie Moore Outdoors. Charlie heads to Minnesota to fish for pike and muskie. And he spends a day on the water with his sons. That's tonight at 6 right here on NESN. Saw the episode where Charlie was in Rome, running around Rome doing some sightseeing. There's not a lot of fishing being done.
Not in Rome, no.
A lot of eating being done.
Yeah.
And drinking, but not a lot of fishing.
They do a lot of stuff on that show.
They do indeed. Stuff. Here's Saltalamacchia batting on the right side. No score, third inning. Bright sunshine here in Detroit. Salty hitting just 198. He has hit 11 home runs. He is now 31 years old. Former Red Sox catcher. Played such a big role in beating the Tigers in the ALCS. He hooks that one down the line foul. He did a little celebration of David Ortiz's career last night. Al Avila, the general manager, was up on the big board, gave a very nice message to David, congratulating him on his career. They kind of skipped right over the ALCS 2013. I did notice that. Very strategic. Torrey Hunter told me a couple of months ago that on that play where Ortiz hit the grand slam and tied the game, that incredible hit, that Torrey suffered a concussion when he went diving head over heels into the bullpen. Popped up down the line, giving chase Hanley Ramirez, but he won't get to it. I mean, he took a shot.
He certainly did, tumbling over that bullpen wall. And that famous picture, of course, taken that everybody in Boston has seen.
Here it is.
Police officer with his arms up, and all you can see is the feet of Torrey Hunter.
Tied the ball game, and Salty won that game with a hit and tied the series at 1-1. Then it moved on to Detroit. Slicer foul out of play, and the Red Sox in game 3 were to face Verlander. If not for David's heroics and Saltalamacchia too, Red Sox would have gone 0-2 heading to Detroit to face Verlander. Ibar on deck. Just one of the many extraordinary highlights of David Ortiz's clutch career. Fly to right field. Betts on the run toward the line, but foul.
Very little activity prior to the game because of the late night last night. Neither team took batting practice, but the Tigers did have some work being done on the field. They had a couple of their players that are on a DL being tested. They had Saltalamacchia taking ground balls at first base because he's obviously playing that position today. But it was a very quiet morning after a very late night.
Game ended at about 12:15 a.m. Thanks to the 2 rain delays. Here comes the 2-2 to Salty. And that is inside. Still nobody has had a chance to catch a fly ball or pick up a ground ball. It's been walks or strikeouts. And a full count on Saltalamacchia. He popped it up again, drifting. Ramirez over near the tarp, but can't get to it. And DraftKings is the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of the Red Sox. Experience the thrill of playing at DraftKings right now. Play free daily using the promo code NESSON at DraftKings.com.
You know, you look at this ballpark, Dave, and you wonder, you know, I'm thinking around baseball, the only one that may have more foul territory is in Oakland. A lot of foul territory down the first base line, third base line here at Comerica Park.
Great point. We were recently in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium. Used to be miles of it, but not anymore. They've closed it in with a lot of seating. Pitchers used to love that place. Picked up a lot of outs. And he walks him. In that kind of game. He's walked the leadoff man twice, and that is his 3rd walk in 3 innings. It'll send up Ibar, the number 9 hitter. It is a great big ballpark. 420 to center field, 365 to that power alley out there in right center field. Miguel Cabrera has quietly complained about it. that this ballpark has cost him home runs.
Well, you talk about complaining. When this place opened, where the bullpen area is now, was the playing field. The home run was the back wall.
Showing a bunt, but it's up and away, ball one. Yeah, they moved the fences in about 25 feet back in 03.
I mean, you had to win over the back wall to be a home run when this place opened up. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Now, Cabrera's put up awesome numbers, and in this ballpark too, but he believes the park has cost him, as far as home runs, more than a handful. High chopper, and over the glove of Shaw, down the line it'll roll. Saltalamacchia heading into third base. He's going to get there, and that's going to be a double for Ibar, just out of the reach of a leaping Shaw.
Now Shaw's in tight because they're thinking about a possible bunt. Then you get the big high hop that's going to go up over his backhand. And from that point right there, there's no question it's going to be a second and third situation. So the leadoff walk, follow-up double, in trouble right now for Owens.
And a good hitter coming up in Kinsler. Red Sox have done good work on him so far in the series. He's just 1 for 10. But he does have 22 home runs, hitting .280. So 2 men in scoring position, nobody out for the Tigers. Strike one.
Even though they're facing Verlander, the Red Sox have the infield back, and the reason for that is with nobody out, you don't want to come in, have a chance for a big inning. You'll take an out and a ground ball, which gives you more range back there, and give up a run at this stage of the game. But you don't want to come in, have a ball scored through, and give up 2 and still have nobody out.
Owens with the 0-1. High pop up into right center. Jackie Bradley can charge in on this one. Saltalamacchia is going to hold with that arm. And that is a big first out, with runners having to freeze at second and third.
Yeah, that was no contest there. I mean, first of all, the ball was not hit very deep, and when Jackie starts making his move on it coming in, there's no way that they can score that man from third base. Love the way he squares up right there, gets in a position to make the throw, and throws it all the way in the air to home plate. But you cannot send the runner in that situation there.
So Maben will climb in, a strikeout victim in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. And they just got him back to the lineup today, coming back from that sprained thumb. No score here in the last half of the third inning. Owens trying to get out of this. He already has 5 strikeouts in the game.
And that was a very unproductive out by Kinsley. But you had that second and third situation. You had nobody out. I mean, a ground ball at second base gets a run home and gets another man at third base with less than 2 outs. Instead, he gets that little short pop up to center field.
0-2. So Owens jumps ahead in the count.
Well, Maben looked overmatched on that fastball that was upstairs, up and in.
Some of the Tiger folks were talking about how much they have missed Maben. He's one of those guys who stirs it up. He can run, he can drive in runs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tigers have been an up and down team, and lately battling a lot of injuries. They still have that man though, Cabrera, who is on deck. Owens looking for his 6th strikeout, and the 1-2. Did not get it there.
Got him on a fastball the first time up, tried the fastball again down and in, but that time no swing by Maben.
2-2. Saltalamacchia at third and Ibar at second. 1 man away. And a a wave and a miss. He got him 80 miles an hour, and he fans him for the second time.
Now, perfect location, change up that time, down and away, and really, again, no contest. And, you know, when a guy's been on a disabled list like Maven has been, when you get back into the lineup, generally, and I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time, pitches that give you the most problems are the off-speed pitches, whether it be a curveball or a changeup. He looked bad on that changeup.
So Cabrera coming up, Carl Willis going out to the mound. What do you think the reason is behind this visit?
Well, obviously what they want to do with Cabrera, they got first base open, and you know, a lot of times they'll talk about, you know, let's not give him this certain pitch to deal with two men in scoring position. You take your chances with the bases loaded against J.D. Martinez, but J.D. Martinez has been crushing the ball here in this series.
Yeah.
So you got a real dilemma here with this combination coming to the plate.
Cabrera was messing with David Ortiz back and forth. I think Poppy raced out to the top step holding 4 fingers in the air. See what the Red Sox do here, because frankly Martinez is far hotter of the two of them with the bat right now. They are going to walk him.
Yep.
So this will be an intentional pass of Miguel Cabrera to load up the bases and go after Martinez instead. Both of them struck out in their previous plate appearance against Owens.
That ball almost came back to the corner.
And here comes ball 2.
One of the dangers of doing this with a guy like Henry Owens, a guy that walks a lot of people, is, you know, managers have second thoughts on intentionally walking people to load the bases, because there's always a possibility you get that follow-up walk to the next hitter. But, you know, this is the guy you can't have beat you in the lineup.
And there's ball 4, so he has loaded up the bases. This puts the pressure on Owens to throw strikes, which has not always been his forte. He's got to do it now. J.D. Martinez with 18 home runs, outstanding power, and he's shown it off in this series.
Yeah, we've seen him go to the opposite field, and we've also seen him pull one. That slider stayed inside, and he got all of that. But here's where the pressure really is on Owens to throw strikes.
He struck him out in the second inning. 2 down, bases are loaded. Nothing in the third. And he cuts and misses. He went after the very first one. 78 on the gun.
Yeah, another very good changeup by Henry Owens, down and away. Not the kind of pitch you want to swing at with the bases loaded. And you know, no count on you yet.
Saltalamacchia, Ibar, and Cabrera filling him up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pretty good hitter in his career with the bases loaded, including a couple of grand slams. And he has an 11-game hitting streak. The 1-1. Foul back. Came at him with a fastball. It was right down the middle.
Well, let's see if he goes back to that changeup. It's been a very good pitch for him in this inning. And actually in the whole ball game.
Owens trying to survive here in the third. Here comes the 1-2 to Martinez. Liner and a base hit just inside first. That'll get in Saltalamacchia. It'll also bring in Ibar. And the runners will advance to second and third to make it 2-0 Detroit. Off the end of the bat, just inside the bag. But now 12 in a row for Martinez.
Well, you know, sometimes you make good pitches and hitters get lucky. And in this case, J.D. Martinez, in my opinion, got lucky. It was a good pitch by Henry Owens. It was a changeup away, and he just reaches out. It didn't even sound good. This is the pitch by pitch, the fastball inside. Comes back with another fastball that he fouls off, and now the changeup. And look at the location of that pitch. I mean, that's 4 or 5 inches off the outside part of the plate.
You got enough wood on that to double in 2, and it brings up Upton, who struck out his first time up. Runners at second and third for the Tigers. You come back to that leadoff walk, which has often been a lot of trouble for Owens. That was Saltalamacchia, then the double by Ibar. Red Sox electing to walk Cabrera to pitch to Martinez, and he winds up with a double. And a 1-0 to Upton. Too high. Upton's batting average with the deep slump down to 228. But he has hit 13 home runs. Owens fetching a sign from Leon, and the 2-0. High fly ball. He cracked that one deep to left. Forget about this. It is gone. A 3-run homer for Upton. That was a no-doubter. His 14th.
And that was a bad changeup that time from Owen. The one that J.D. Martinez hit for a double was a good changeup. This one was not good at all. It just stayed out over the plate. Watch the location. 79 miles an hour, just about down the middle and elevated.
And way out of here. Upton appears to be out of his slump. He almost homered here last night up against the center field fence as McGee takes one high, so that makes it 5-0 Detroit. You knew the Red Sox were probably going to have to score a bunch of runs today anyway, but now in a big hole. McGee walked in the second inning. Hitting .264, no home runs. They just recently brought him up from AAA. .2-0 pitch and a high pop into right. Pedroia wants it and makes the play. But the home run by Upton traveled 434 feet. It was not a cheapie. The Tigers get 5. By clean, crisp Coors Light. Red Sox career RBI leaders Carl Yastrzemski and Ted Williams 1-2, and David Ortiz now at 1,500. He continues to have an excellent series. He doubled in the first inning, but the Red Sox need a bunch of runs. Now they trail 5-0. It's Ortiz, Betts, and Ramirez, and Verlander with a nice cushion. David started the day at 321, 29 homers, 97 RBIs. And he will take a strike. Ortiz in this ballpark has come up to bat 439 times. He has 36 home runs. And the 0-1. Off his foot, a foul ball. And Farrell out with a trainer to see if he can continue.
Yeah, David swinging on top of the slider that time and right back down on his foot, it looks like. Just where he needs it, right? All the problems he has with his Achilles, his ankles. And now that slider off the, looked like the instep. Or the ankle, his right ankle.
Home plate umpire Trip Gibson inquiring if he's okay. Only answer to that is no. But he'll keep on swinging. 2 strikes on David. He has hit 23 home runs in this ballpark in his career, and 2 of them in this series. Right now, David tied for the most home runs by a 40-year-old in a single season with Raul Ibanez and Ted Williams with the 29. Here's the 1-2. Lunged out, poked that one into center field. It'll pop up to Maben. And 1 man gone for the Sox here in the 4th inning. Betts coming up. Tune in to NESN August 29th and 30th for coverage of the WEEI NESN Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon presented by Arbella Insurance Foundation. Arbella Insurance Foundation here for the Jimmy Fund, here for good. Mookie Betts is 0 for 1 with a fly to center. He was 1 for 4 with a base hit last night. Never had a hit against Verlander. He's 0 for 8. Nobody aboard and 1 down.
That might have been the best curveball Verlander has featured so far in the game. Had a little snap to it, thrown hard and breaking down and low.
Mookie trying to make it a 9-game hitting streak. The 0-2 is pop foul out of play. He is leading the major leagues with 98 runs scored. Number 1 in total bases. Number 1 in multi-hit games. And the 291 total bases are the most by a major league hitter through 122 games since Miguel Cabrera won the MVP in 2013. On deck, Hanley Ramirez. So far, the Sox have 2 hits against Verlander. The Ortiz double and the Leon base hit. But he was erased at second base trying to make it a double. Poke foul back out of play.
Good job fouling off that slider that time by Betts. That was a pretty nasty pitch. That was going to pick up the outside corner.
One out and the 1-2. Luke Fowl is reading about Justin Verlander's little brother Ben. who is also a professional ball player. He plays for Single A Lakeland in the Tigers system. That's high A ball. And yesterday he went 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs. On Wednesday he went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. So we know who the hitter is in the Verlander family. He chased, and down he goes, strike 3. 2 down.
Fastball at 90 miles an hour. Might have been a little cut on this one right at the end, as you can see it going away from Mookie Betts. You know, you think back of those 2 pitches that Henry Owens made. They were both changeups, and one was good. The one that J.D. Martinez was a good pitch that he hit down the first base line. The next one was terrible. That was taken out of the ballpark for a 3-run home run.
And the 0 for 1. He's popped the second.
This is the one I'm talking about, the J.D. Martinez. That's not bad. That's about 6 inches off the outside part of the plate. But the one to Upton, oh my goodness. Belt high over the middle.
Yep, that one said hit me. And he did. 434 feet. And Verlander trying to make it a 1-2-3 fourth on the heels of that. And the Ramirez 2 for 9 off him lifetime. Not many Red Sox have even okay numbers off of Verlander. That can be said about most teams in the American League. The 1-1. In there for a strike right on the edge.
Doesn't look like a strike to Hanley because the last pitch was so far inside, but that was a good pitch by Verlander on the outside corner. As the last pitch, clearly picking up the corner, and Hanley thought it was away.
Two and rattled foul by Ramirez. Jackie Bradley would be the next man in given the opportunity. But a healthy lead for Verlander. Since July 1 his ERA is under 2. Toronto has a 2-0 lead in their game against the Indians. Here comes the 1-2. High pop up into left center field. They've been plenty of time. He's waiting, and that'll do it. Red Sox go 1-2-3 here in the top half of the 4th inning. Still 5-0 Detroit. Day at Fenway with the purchase of a game ticket. Through the special offer, fans receive a limited edition Red Sox themed player made with Lego bricks. Additionally, you'll be granted access to the kids concourse before the game for a special experience. Tickets are limited. Go to redsox.com/Lego to get yours today. Red Sox behind here 5-0. The big blow, a home run by Justin Upton, a 3-run shot. That followed the Martinez double. All against Henry Owens. A run-up bunt attempt by McCann. He struck out his first time up. Did not try for that one, so it's ball 1.
You know, last time up, Hanley hit a ball to center field, and he yelled out an obscenity very, very loud. We can't let you hear that, but then you see Verlander kind of checking out Hanley down the first base line. Pitchers don't like that when hitters do that. You know, when the hitter's upset, he screams something out very loud, but pitchers don't like that either. It's not like, you know, it's the first time I've got somebody out. But Verlander took a peek back at Hanley to say, you know, hey.
Yeah. You know who else doesn't like it? The FCC doesn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. We couldn't play sound on that one.
The 1-1 to McCann, showing bunt again. Saltalamacchia on deck, and then Ibar. Those are the guys who started their rally in the 3rd inning against Owens. And it started with a walk. So 2 of the walks have scored. One of those was an intentional pass of Cabrera, but 2 of them have come in. And the left-hander's 2-1. So another 3-ball count. Red Sox heading on to play the Rays inside the division. David Price against Blake Snell tomorrow night. At least there we know the rain will not be a factor. High fly down the right field line, heading deep into the corner, but that is going to be a foul ball.
Well, the rain may be a factor on our way to the Trop and back from the Trop, but certainly not while we're inside.
Will not interfere with the game.
Exactly. Rains every day in Florida, does it?
Every day.
About 5 o'clock?
Yep.
Thunderstorms pass through?
Yep. Easiest job in the world is forecasting the weather in Florida. You know, partly sunny, chance of showers. You can say that every day and you're going to be right.
Yeah, it's going to be 90s and humid, and a chance of a thunderstorm about 5 o'clock. And we'll see you tomorrow.
You walked him, so McCann is on. Another leadoff walk. Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. TC Tim Wakefield and Steve Lyons will break it all down. You'll hear from Henry Owens and John Farrell. Whatever, whenever, wherever, who but WB Mason. So Owens walked the leadoff man Kinsler to start the ball game. In the 3rd inning, to get that rally going, he walked Saltalamacchia. Now here in the 4th inning, he's walked another man to lead it off, putting on McCann. And Salty will take a breaking ball for a strike. That's 5 walks, including the intentional pass issued by Owens. And that's a problem that continues to follow him. Mile high pop up back toward the net, but over the top of that screen and into the box seats. Kind of an interesting note that with a record of 69-53, the Red Sox are only 1 game behind the 2004 World Series championship pace. Sox in 04 were 70-52. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But today down quickly 5-0. Ibar on deck. And up and away to make it 2-2. Henry was actually pitching all right for the Paw Sox. 21 starts. He went 8-6. ERA of about 3.70. But the walk totals were high. He was able to pitch around a lot of them there. Bit of a different story here. Today making his 4th start for the Red Sox this season. Ibar next, and then Kinsler. McCann leading at first, and a breaking ball is spoiled, foul back.
Got away with one there too. That was a hanging breaking ball from Owens. It stayed up in the zone, but foul back by Saltalamacchia. A lot of spin, not much dip.
Eduardo Rodriguez unable to pitch today because of lingering issues with that hamstring that he injured in Baltimore. Another one popped up, back into the stands. It was not until about 5:45 yesterday in the evening that Rodriguez told John Farrell he was not going to be able to go, that he was still having problems, did not feel he could pitch with that hamstring. Red Sox had to make the call to AAA, where Owens was preparing to start at Scranton last night. He never did warm up, popped back out of play again.
O.B. Rodriguez spoke to reporters last night, and he said he just was not 100%, that hamstring was still bothering him. John Farrell said that the next step would be a simulated game in Tampa where he would face live batters to really test his hamstring, and that's just a lot more than he could get from a typical bullpen. And guys, he said at this point they're just really hoping to avoid a DL stint. But I was in the dugout when Rodriguez got off the field, and he was talking to Dave Dombrowski, and he said he felt much better today, so hopefully he continues to improve quickly.
All right, Garrett, thank you very much. The 2-2, a little dribbler off the end of the bat foul.
Now that kind of caught everybody by surprise because he did throw a couple of bullpens and came out of those bullpens okay, but then all of a sudden the day before he pitches, it tightened up on him a little bit, and as we mentioned earlier, they had to wait very late to make that decision and get Owens somehow to Detroit to make this start today. I saw him come in the clubhouse this morning and had his suit on from traveling and his suitcase with him and not much sleep.
Here's the 10th pitch of this at bat, and that is high, and another 3-ball count. Well, this was the issue with Owens when he was up with the Red Sox previously. Does not pitch to contact very frequently. He's on the verge of walking another man. Nobody loosening in a bullpen quite yet. Here comes the 3-2. Popped up and in play this time. Ramirez there with Pedroia. Pedroia will take it. And that is the first out of the inning. Fans, time to vote for the Globies. It's Boston's biggest sports bash. The Boston Globe sports writers have nominated many of your favorite athletes and sports moments in several categories. Cast your vote now at theglobies.com. The Globies are presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Dave O'Brien has a chance to win a Globie this year. And Sportscaster of the Year.
Well, thanks for mentioning that. As that one is tap foul by Ibar, who doubled and scored in the 3rd.
I'm going to be there that night, not to get an award, but I'm going to be there to watch you get your award as I have my role as ambassador for the Red Sox organization at this prestigious event.
What are your duties going to be? Do you know?
I'm finding out very slowly. Yeah, a lot of social media stuff to start with.
0-1 ground ball. Hot shot to Pedroia. The Bogart's got one. The turn. Nice dig there at first base by Hanley Ramirez in time for the double play. And that's the end of the inning. Still 5-0 Detroit. Is the Ultimate Red Sox Show presented by AAA. Tom Candiotti discusses the first time he met Stephen Wright. Terry Francona says farewell to Big Papi in Cleveland. That's tonight at 5:30, only on NESN.
Hey, Dave, I was checking Twitter between innings, and we got lit up by Sarah Oblesky, who does the weather on Fox 25, saying it's not easy predicting the weather. We were talking about Florida, not Boston.
Oh, only Florida. Yeah.
Boston's very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's a whole. Well, that's real. Where your real weather forecasters are.
Yeah, I mean, lighten up, Sarah, because we were not talking about, but we know how difficult it can be in our area to predict weather. But in Florida at this time of year, I think it's pretty easy.
Jackie Bradley fouls that one away. He's 0 for 1 with a fly to center. I lived in Florida for 14 years, and every forecast could start in the evening with, partly sunny, chance of showers tomorrow. Whole different story in New England. Whole different.
Oh, we're not talking about New England. We're talking about going to Tampa, and
yeah, I thought that was pretty clear.
We know what we're going to get just about every day. 95, humid,
yeah,
and thunderstorms. So
I think we're doing apology. As that one almost got him, he has to skip out of the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to even attempt it in Boston because it's so unpredictable. I mean, it's even this summer with all the thunderstorms that they've had back there with the heat and the humidity, and they hit and miss thunderstorms all over the place. They nail them down pretty good about where they're going to hit and stuff. So I'm not talking about Boston weather people at all. I think they're all terrific.
Not even remotely. Rely on those folks. Particularly in the wintertime, as that one is cracked foul by Jackie Bradley.
I give Sarah credit for lighting us up, though. That was pretty good. At least she's watching the game.
I just wanted to listen a little bit closer. Just a little closer. Toronto on top here 2-0. Toronto on top of Cleveland 2-0 in the 6th inning. Here it is the Tigers on top 5-0 over the Red Sox. As Jackie Bradley tries to get into Verlander. Will be followed by Leone and then Shaw. That one ran in on the handle. Sox fans looking for the best seats to the biggest games. Check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace at RedSoxReplay.com. It's the best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game. And Verlander's 1-2. Got a piece of it.
Now Verlander looks much more comfortable at this stage of the game now, and I'm sure the 5 runs on the board help. First couple of innings he didn't look all that sharp to me, but he has sharpened his act up a little bit now.
Jackie trying to come alive here with the bat. It's been a little chilly on this part of the road trip as he pops a foul out of play.
Now last fastball at 95 from Verlander.
Jackie 5 for 25, although he has homered 3 times. Currently in a little 0 for 9. Tough guy to break out against, certainly. Here comes the 1-2. And he pops it up sky high on the infield. High bar on the grass will make the play. Hey, stay tuned after the 3rd out of this half inning for the mid-5th studio show presented by Buick with TC, Tim Wakefield, and Steve Lyons. Sandy Leon with a base hit, first time up, attempted to make that a double, and he was thrown out by McGee, the 3rd baseman. There was a collision there with Ibar, the shortstop at second, who caught a knee in the chest, but he was okay. 5 runs on only 3 hits for the Tigers, so you know the walks have played a very active role. Nothing across for the Red Sox on just 2 hits. Sandy Leon among hitters with at least 100 at bats is first in the majors in batting average. Now up to 387. He's also number 1 in on base percentage and in slugging and in OPS.
And Verlander wanted to know where that last pitch was. That was a pretty good fastball right at the bottom of the strike zone. And not getting the call. See the location of the pitch.
is 1-1. Just inside. You see him throwing there about 94. In his start in July at Fenway, late in the game, he was still getting it up there around 96 when he needed it. His velocity is up a couple of ticks so far this summer. Here's the 2-1. Showing a bunt, but taking a ball. So 3-1 on Leon. Verlander engaged to be married to Kate Upton. The 3-1. Fly ball into left field. And Upton with the catch. Last week, Liverpool opened their Premier League campaign with an exciting 4-3 victory over Arsenal. Tune in tomorrow afternoon at 2 as they look to keep that momentum going.
I actually saw some of that game that they won in their opener
against Arsenal.
Yes.
What did you think? You like the way they moved the ball?
Looks like they're going to have a pretty good club this year. I don't know, a lot about soccer, but those folks who do know tell me they've made some moves with that Liverpool Ball Club, and they're supposed to be a very contending soccer team.
I'm going to take your word for that. Let me know what you think when you watch again.
I won't get a chance to see tomorrow's because we'll be in Tampa, obviously. I don't get nothing in my room.
Travis Shaw 0 for 1. He has flied out to center. And a swing and a miss. Down he goes, strike 3. So Verlander makes quick work of the Red Sox here in the 5th inning as we go live to our studio with TC, Tim Wakefield, and Steve Lyons for the mid-5th studio show presented by Buick. Tigers. Owens back out there for his 5th inning. Here's a look at his pitching line. It is brought to you by Ace Ticket. 5 walks again, 1 of those intentional, and all the runs against Henry are earned. Red Sox were hoping for more in this spot start, but he's down by 5 to a good ball club and a very tough opponent in Verlander. So this one will be straight uphill for the Red Sox the rest of the day. Kinsler will lead things off, and then it'll be Maven and Cabrera. And John Farrell electing to intentionally walk Cabrera to load up the bases, and then Martinez doubled. He didn't kill it, but enough of the bat on it to drive in 2. There's a high fly ball, well hit into left center field. Jackie Bradley backing up all the way to the wall, and he'll take it in on the warning track. Kinsler just missed one there, one man out.
That's pitcher friendly right there. That ball hit very well by Kinsler, very deep out there to left center field, and Jackie Bradley able to track it down in front of that fence. That's a hanging breaking ball right there, hanging curveball. And most ballparks you're talking about a home run, but not here at Comerica.
Sends up Maben, who has punched out twice. Well, the first couple of innings were really fascinating because Owens wasn't allowing his teammates to get in on anything. He was either walking a guy or striking a guy out. He had 5 Ks in the first 2 innings, but he also walked a couple of men, and then he walked the leadoff man in the third. He would eventually score. Popped into left field. Plenty of time for Benintendi looking up into the sun. 2 down.
You know, one of the theories about very tall pitches, and you know, you hear this a lot through the years, is it takes them time because their mechanics get out of whack so easily because they're tall, lanky. There's so much to try to get under control, and I've heard that from many pitching coaches. You know, have talked about tall pitches. Sometimes it takes them a longer time to get into a rhythm, and it's so easy to come out of their routine because of you know, they're tall, they're lanky, a lot of moving parts.
Line drive, that's scalded into center field for a base hit. Cabrera often will go after that first pitch, and he's on for the second time.
Yeah, Cabrera just taking that fastball, and so impressive. You know, taking it and hitting it where it is, where it's pitched. That ball on the outside part of the plate, he'll take it to Jackie Bradley in center field. Almost bounced to his right and got by him, but he's able to make the quick reaction and get it back in.
So a man on with 2 down here in the 5th inning. And here's J.D. Martinez. He has the 2-run double along with a strikeout. 1 for 2 today. No advance by Cabrera at first base. Tigers picked up Martinez in 2014 after Houston cut him loose. He became a free agent. He's been doing a lot of this since he arrived. A rocket off the fence, knocked around by Benintendi. Cabrera will chug on down to third and stop there. It'll be a double by Martinez. Right now, he's one of the hottest hitters in baseball.
He certainly is. And, you know, that ball was hit so hard that Benintendi didn't know which way to turn in the outfield. It was almost like a line drive going over a third baseman's head. That's just an absolute rocket, and you can see Benintendi. He gets trapped up against the fence out there, bobbles it around, but it's going to end up being a second and third situation. Cabrera does not run well. If he did, he would have scored on that.
He winds up at third base, so 2 men in scoring position for Upton, who destroyed a 3-run homer in the third. 5-0 Detroit. They are trying to put this thing completely out of reach. And he'll take a strike. Upton came into the series in a deep slump. He looks like he's out of it. After 2 hits last night, he almost hit a home run. He doubled off the center field wall. The 3-run homer in the third today. So sitting him down for a few games looks like it paid off. 1-1.
Now here's the home run. He hits back in the third inning. A real bad changeup right here. It's going to stay up in the zone, and you know, not too many big league hitters are going to miss that. That doesn't mean they're going to hit it out of the ballpark, but they're not going to miss it.
Two down and a 1-1. Made him dance a bit. Not a lot of hits in this one yet. The Tigers have 5 and the Sox have just 2. But Detroit has made theirs count. And the 2-1 from Henry Owens. They do appeal on the check swing, and Scott Barry says no swing.
Not even close to a swing right there.
Owens trying to hang on. Another 3-ball count. Lots of those again. And a high fly ball deep left field. He's destroyed another one. What a day he's having. His second 3-run homer of the contest. His second in as many at-bats. He has launched a couple way out of here.
Well, it was a changeup. This time it's a fastball on the inside part of the plate that he cleans out. And he just looks like a different hitter right now. This ball's crushed. And way over that second fence.
Which one was deeper? The one in the third or this one?
I think this one was.
Flying into center field. Jackie Bradley backing up again as McGee flies out to retire the side. But the Tigers get 3 more. Another 3-run homer from Justin Upton to make it 8-0 Detroit. To you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. Red Sox are down 8-0 here in the 6th inning. And how about this? Brad Ausmus, the manager, is warming up Verlander in between innings.
Yeah, you know, when the catcher's getting ready, somebody's going to get out there and do it. So Ausmus, a former catcher, gets out and warms up Verlander.
Former Gold Glover.
Don't see that very often, do you?
Benintendi is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. This one getting away quickly on the Red Sox here on getaway day. 8 runs on 6 hits for Detroit. No runs on 2 hits for the Sox. Down 8-0 to Verlander. Pedroia on deck, and then Bogarts. So a day with the Red Sox maybe asking for a little bit of help from Terry Francona and the Cleveland Indians. Hot shot. That's fair. Skipping past the bag down the line. Benintendi churning his way for second base. Martinez didn't get to it right away. Benintendi all the way to third and stopping there. He's got himself a triple. It's his first major league triple.
Yeah, right down that first base line and all the way down to the 330 in foul territory. By the time J.D. Martinez gets to track it down, Benintendi on his way to third base. There you see it going right over the bag. Actually looked like it might have hit the bag as it went by it and down into that corner. Benintendi making the decision on himself as he looks back where the ball is. He's thinking double then first, but now he thinks three bases and turns it on.
So Pedroia trying to pick up the run. A fly ball into right field. That should do it. Backing up Martinez. He'll make the catch. Tagging up. Here comes Benintendi. He can crawl home. And the Red Sox break up the shutout bid on Verlander. It is now 8-1. And Pedroia with his 55th RBI with the sacrifice. And the bases will be empty for Xander Bogaerts, who has popped to short and flied to center field. So an 8-1 game. Xander has hit safely in 12 consecutive games against Detroit. Nothing yet today. Hitting .311 with 14 home runs. Red Sox have Tazawa going in the pen.
And you see how his role's changed.
Be pitching in the 6th inning apparently today. And no longer the 8th. Matt Barnes has that. He pitched in the 8th inning last night. Matt did walk a couple of men. And John Farrell had to bring in Craig Kimbrell for a 4-out save yesterday. And he got it. And pop foul back out of play. One of the things you like about Barnes, though, is that swing and miss ability.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm always in favor, and I think most managers and pitching coaches are, that when you get to the 8th, 9th inning, the less contact, the better, obviously, and the less trouble you can get in.
Matt was throwing 97, 98. But got in a little bit of trouble on ball 4 that he has to stay away from. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Xander. Check swing, foul out of play. David Ortiz on deck. Matt out there along with Robbie Ross. Heath Hembree in the background. He was used yesterday too. Here comes the 0-2 pitch now to Bogaerts from Verlander. Tied him up and he foul tipped it.
Boy, just barely getting a piece of that was Xander as he tips it and it pops out of the glove of McCann. That ball was way inside, about 6 inches on the inside of the corner. Back to the curveball.
Big right-hander's 0-2 and he missed with that.
Here's the pitch that Bogaerts fouled off. Look how far inside that thing is, and somehow he's able to just get a piece of it and keep the at-bat alive.
Verlander did not pitch great his last time out. A 6-1 loss to Kansas City. Gave up 5 runs. He's been better as this game has worn on. Here comes the 1-2. And down he goes, strike 3.
And that pitch has got better as this game has gone on. That curveball for him early in the ball game, first couple of innings, it was not real sharp, but it is real sharp now.
It sends up Big Papi, who has ripped the double, and he's also flied to center. David is going to become the oldest player ever to hit 30 home runs. He's at 29 right now. He'll take one down and in for ball one. Nobody on base, 2 away, 8-1 Detroit.
Last time these two hooked up back at Fenway Park, we had kind of a funny moment where Verlander really threw a fastball right down the middle to Ortiz. Ortiz missed it, hit a fly ball to center field, and they just kind of looked at each other and laughed. You know, they both knew that Verlander got away with one there.
2-0 pitch, a strike. We've seen several moments like that here in Poppy's final season. Exchanges between he and pitchers he has faced for years, like Verlander, the 2-1. Flies that one off the foul line. Going to keep on cruising out of play. David has more home runs here at Comerica Park than any other visiting player since the venue opened in 2000. And Garrett Austin was asking him why he enjoys hitting here so much after last night. And he said, I think it's a good hitter's ballpark. A lot of guys don't. But for a left-handed power hitter, it's not bad.
Now, really the short area out here is in right field. That's, you know, where Ortiz hits most of his home runs, and that 330 across is a pretty decent place to hit home runs if you're a left-handed power hitter. And the rest of the ballpark, very big.
Pushes out to 420 in center, and out there in left center field. Forget about it. You got to hit it twice. 2-2. Try to hold up, but he went, and that is strike 3. So that'll do it for the Red Sox. They do get 1 run. But here in the middle of the 6th inning, it is 8-1 Detroit. Last home games. Visit @Duncan Boston on Twitter. Enter hashtag DDThanks34 for your chance to win a signed baseball and tickets to one of Big Papi's last home games in October. Now the Red Sox making a pitching change. Henry Owens forced into duty. Just recalled from AAA on about 4 hours of sleep. Knocked around by these Detroit Tigers. Gone after 5. Gave up 8 runs on 6 hits, and he walked 5 men, one of them intentionally. He gives way to Tazawa, a changing role for Junichi. Given that ERA now at 4.58, some very rocky performances including one on Thursday in game 1 of the series. Game the Red Sox should have won. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Kia.
Yeah, that's really when John Farrell decided that it was time to make a shift to the bullpen, get Tazawa out of that role of the 8th inning, and now he's in an 8-1 ball game here in the 6th.
Here's McCann. He has struck out and taken ball 4. Bottom third of their orders, Saltalamacchia and Ibar next. The big star today, even more than Verlander or Cabrera for the Tigers, has been Justin Upton, as he has ripped a pair of long home runs. Both those 3-run shots. In for a strike. Again, Owens subbing in for Rodriguez. Couldn't go because of the tender hamstring. And Upton really took advantage. The 1-1 coming. It's going to be really interesting to see what goes on with Tazawa now moving forward as the games get more and more important. He has lost his 8th inning spot. The end of the game he will not be involved in as a matter of routine anyway. As a matter of planning for John Farrell, the 2-1. He's pitched in a lot of big games for the Red Sox and a lot of innings over the last few years.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest concern that I have, is the wear and tear on his arm. And, you know, as much as you try to protect guys, I mean, there's only so many bullets you have, and he's made a lot of appearances, a lot of innings for the Red Sox, and all he can do now is come into these situations and try to pitch his way back toward the end of the game. And that's really what it comes down to. Does he have the ability to do that?
He's gone to 3-2 on McCann. Tazawa last year appearing in 61 games. The 2 seasons before that, 71 games each season. Up the middle and a base hit right over second. So McCann is aboard for the 2nd time. Time for a game break now, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Here's our man TC. Tom, thank you very much. And they have a half-game lead over the Red Sox going into play today. Inside the division, Red Sox are down 8-1. Saltalamacchia has walked and scored, so he's been part of it against his old mates. Taking a strike. Ibar next. Last year, maybe some warning signs for Junichi, because the ERA rose from 2.86 in 2014 to 4.14. The hits went up as that one is fouled back.
And because the Red Sox were totally out of it a year ago, they shut Tazawa down at the end of the season. That's why only the 64 appearances for him, and hoping to get him some extra rest between the end of last year and this off season.
But right now, an earned run average near 4.6. And the 0-2. That is Shane Green going in the bullpen for the Tigers. Verlander with a sizable lead, maybe ready to step aside. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from the righty. Got a piece of it. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets, with the best seats at the lowest prices from bleachers to boxes. Visit aceticket.com or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. Verlander with a win today would improve to 13-7. 1-2 home. Swung on and missed, and down he goes. So Saltalamacchia strikes out. One away.
like the split-fingered fastball that time from Tazawa to pick up the strikeout against Saltalamacchia. Usually they try to go up in the zone against him. This time it's downstairs with the splitter, and not handled by Sandy Leon, but no advance by the runner at first base, McCann.
Ibar with a double. He's also been doubled up for 6-3. 8-1 Detroit. We uncorked a splitter there to strike out Saltalamacchia, and that has been the pitch that has often failed him when he has had the most difficult times, like the other day when he hangs that pitch. It's like a bad changeup, and it has no action on it. Here's the 1-0 strike. David Price going tomorrow night at 7:10 at Tampa Bay, up against left-hander Blake Snell. The 1-1 and a bounder foul. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final, presented by Plainridge Park Casino. TC Tim Wakefield and Steve Lyons will preview that 4-game series against the Rays. Red Sox have very good pitching lined up, the way the starters have been dealing lately. It didn't happen today with Henry Owens. Red Sox with a 2.45 starters ERA in the month of August. Line shot, the base hit into right field by Ibar. That'll put runners at first and second in front of Ian Kinsler.
See, there are a couple of things with Tazawa that have become pretty noticeable. One, his velocity has dropped. His fastball right now is about 92 miles an hour, and this is a split-fingered fastball that stays up in the zone. And you know, when he was on top of his game, that split-fingered fastball would be buried down in the dirt, and that one was just up about the middle of the plate and taken into right field for the base hit.
2 on 1 out Kinsler. He has walked, flied out again, 0 for 2. And this crowd buzzing a little bit. They'd like some more runs despite the 8-1 advantage. Checks the swing and a fair ball. A diving stab by Ramirez. And get him at first base. The runners advance to second and third.
Yeah, nice play by Hanley. Certainly saves at least one run on that, as that ball's just kind of check swing down the first base line. And you see how far off the back Hanley was playing, but he's able to cover the ground, and Tazawa doing his job by getting over and covering first base. But look at how much ground Hanley's got to cover on this. Has to dive, and by the time he catches the ball, it's in foul territory, but it goes over the bag fair.
That'll bring up Maben, who's gone 0 for 3. 2 down, second and third for the Detroit Tigers here. They have an 8-1 lead, and they have out hit the Red Sox 8-3. Maben striking out to first and again in the third inning. That was against Henry Owens. There's a base hit up the middle. In to score McCann. Ibar behind him. He will score to make it 10-1. Maben just off the DL today with a 2-run single.
Tazawa tries the curveball, but that's not going to work. Stays inside and goes right back up the middle for the base hit. Curveball was supposed to be away. Not good location, and he pays the price.
And his troubles continue. He's allowed 3 hits, 2 runs here in the 6th inning. Junichi really having trouble getting out of his own way these days. And here's Cabrera. He has struck out, walked and scored. He was intentionally walked in the 3rd inning, and he also singled and scored in the 5th. You're pretty confident this guy's going to wind up with 3,000 hits, aren't you?
Oh, very, very confident.
About 2,400 now.
As long as he can stay healthy.
Only 33 years old. He has had a sensational career. roundly considered one of the most intelligent hitters in either league. Really reads a pitcher. And not just the home run guys, you can tell with the batting crowns, all the hits, and all that ability to go to the opposite field to take what he's given.
That's the most impressive thing to me. You know, a guy that has power like he does and has the ability to use the whole ballpark. That's why his hit total just climbs and climbs and climbs. I mean, this guy will use right field, center field, pull the ball when he has to.
The 1-2 on the way. Cut on and missed, and down he goes and kicks the bat. They do, however, add 2 more runs. At the end of 6, it is 10-1 Detroit. For Justin Verlander, 6 innings, just 3 hits and 1 run, struck out 5, walked only 1. He threw 98 pitches, 69 of those 4 strikes, and in line for the victory if the bullpen can hold it. Green coming out of that bullpen. So the right-hander to take on Betts, and Ramirez and Bradley. This will be his 36th appearance. And Collins will take over in center field for Maben. Mookie quiet so far today. He has flied to center and struck out. And Sox been held to 3 hits. Mookie will have to wait until next season to get his first hit against Verlander, should it come. Closing in on 100 runs. He's at 98. Knocks that one down the line, foul and out of play. So to count 1-1. Get expert emergency care without leaving the ballpark at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center at Fenway. That's the first aid station located behind Section 12 in the lower concourse. Visit bidmc.org. And Green with a 1-1. Hammer toward the middle, snagged by Kinsler on a nifty stab, and he gets him.
Now Kinsler's made a lot of nice plays in this 4-game series. That ball hit very hard by Mookie Betts. And Kinsler just going to the backhand right here to make the catch, to make the play on it.
And he's typically in the shadow of guys like Pedroia and Altuve, but he's very good out there.
Yeah, he puts together solid season after solid season.
And hits for power at that position. Hanley Ramirez has popped up and flied out. Hanley's 0 for 2. He'll take ball 1. Jackie Bradley on deck. Hanley drove in 4 runs on Friday with a pair of 2-run doubles. At one point he was 12 for 26. Popped into right. That's going to find a home. It drops in for a base hit. So he's 1 for 3. Did not crush it, but he'll take it.
Hanley was frustrated after his last at bat when he flied out to center field. That time a little blue in the Bermuda Triangle. First baseman, second baseman, outfielder trying to make the play on it. Nobody could.
And it's only the 4th Red Sox hit all afternoon. Bradley next. He has flied out and popped up. Jackie's 0 for 2. He needs to get started again. He's hit a little bit of a snag. He's now 0 for his last 10. 1 for 11 in the series. Lately, when he gets a hit, it's gone. Because he has 3 home runs on the road trip, but he only has 5 hits on the trip. That's in 26 at bats. He does tend to run hot and cold. Obviously really hot when he's hot. A 29-game hitting streak earlier this year. Tops in the majors. Propelling him to the All-Star game. Tigers with a 10-1 advantage here in the 7th, and fouled away by JBJ. Tomorrow at 6, don't miss Red Sox first pitch presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC, Jim Rice, Steve Lyons will recap the Red Sox road trip to this point as they head to Tampa Bay for that 4-game series against the Rays. Baseball indoors coming up. And the Sox back home on the 26th against Kansas City. That's a 6-game homestand. We'll see the Rays there too.
You know, good point brought up by the truck. You know, I wonder if today is the type of day for the Red Sox, if things don't get closer and we're getting deep in the ball game, whether you see a position player pitch an inning in this game today. Because one thing John Farrell doesn't want to have to do is have a bullpen that's been used going to start the Tampa series, which starts tomorrow night. And Tazawa can't be really expected to go more than a couple of innings.
Line drive and a base hit. Ramirez to second base. Going to keep on going. Collins will throw into second base, so they'll be on the corners on the single by Jackie Bradley.
Bradley getting on top of a high pitch that time and putting it on the line into center field for the base hit. They wanted to elevate. They did elevate. They got it to the top of the strike zone, but not quite as high as maybe Green would have liked. And Ramirez chugs his way into third base, so a little first and third action with 1 out.
And the hitter will be Sandy Leon. Yeah, we'll see if it comes to that today. Position player on the hill. And who that may be.
Could be Hill.
Good. Aaron Hill on the hill. He's available. And well rested as far as pitching's concerned. Sandy has singled and flied out. Hitting .385 with 7 homers. High bounding ball, and that's into right field for a base hit. That'll be an RBI as Hanley Ramirez will score. Jackie Bradley to third. That's the second Red Sox run.
Now Leon's had a couple of hits today. One a little bloop down that left field line where he eventually got thrown out at second base, and now a big high bounce that goes over the head of Saltalamacchia. He tops it.
So another multi-hit game for Sandy Leon. He is 2 for 3. He picks up his 25th RBI. Rich Doobie is out to the mound here after 3 consecutive singles off of Green. And Travis Shaw waiting his turn next. Six hits for the Red Sox. Tomorrow at 6:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. TC Jim Rice and Steve Lyons will preview David Price's start tomorrow against the Rays. DCU is Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? On the day, Travis has flied to center and struck out. This is one bat the Red Sox are trying to get started again, but playing time has been hard to find for Travis recently. He had only 10 at bats on the trip before today. He takes a ball. Only one away.
Yeah, what makes things difficult when you're in that situation, you know, you're not getting as much playing time, is that you have to take advantage of the time you get. The problem is you're not game shot because you haven't been in games. So basically all your work is coming in the cage or batting practice.
The 1-0. It has been a tale of two halves for him, really. First half, he had some games where he did a lot of damage. He's the only left-handed major league hitter with 3 5 RBI games this season. But it came pretty early. Trying to pick up an RBI right now with a man at third base and one away. Right to the first baseman. Saltalamacchia slings it to second, one on to first, and not in time, and that will drive in a run. Jackie Bradley scores. That'll make it 10-3. So Shaw picks up his 60th run batted in. No double play turned by the Tigers.
Looks like it might have been a double play, but Saltalamacchia has to get rid of that ball, get it to second base. The run's going to come in and score. And the return throw from Ibar not quite in time as the pitcher Green was covering. Shaw, give him credit for hustling all the way down the line, getting beat pretty big in this ball game, but still continues to hustle down the line, which is a good sign.
Benintendi tripled his last time up. His first major league 3-base hit, and he was brought in on the sac fly by Dustin Pedroia. That was the first Red Sox run. They've now added 2 more in this inning, but still down by 7. Andrew hitting .316, no homers. He's driven in 7 runs. John Farrell's been talking about getting Chris Young back on Monday, as that one is down into the dirt.
I would probably ease into a platoon situation between he and Benintendi. Get some right-handed thump in the lineup against those left-handed starters.
Chris coming back from that bad hamstring injury, which was a lot worse than anybody originally thought.
I don't know. It looked pretty bad when it happened, that's for sure.
I think the original thought was it might be a couple of weeks, you know, a 15-day. It's been a lot longer than that. And he was swinging such a good bat, too, at the time of that injury. 2-2. Sharply but foul off the tarp down the right field line. Tarp was overused last night.
Now we got sick of looking at that thing. It came out before the rain started. It stayed on there for the first rain, came back off, and back on for the second rain, back off, and back on overnight.
Red Sox won the game anyway, 3-2, despite the delays and some late drama. Check swing. The appeal no. Onora says no swing. So 3-2 on the rookie. Bruce Rondon throwing in the bullpen now for the Tigers. They've got Green on the bump right now. He followed Verlander, who's in line for the win. He went 6. 3-2 runner going high, fly ball deep down the right field line. That looks like number 1 deep into the corner. Gone. The first major league home run for Andrew Benintendi. He hits it in Detroit at Comerica Park. It's a 2-run shot. And the Red Sox are inching their way back into this thing. Now they're down by 5. Big moment for Benintendi.
Oh, it's a huge moment when you get that first major league home run. And that souvenir will be tracked down and given, presented to him in the Red Sox clubhouse. Got a breaking ball that time and really got into it pretty good. So a triple and a home run today.
And Pedroia, the batter, looking at a strike. So the Red Sox are within 5. And those 2 runs allowed by Tazawa in the 6th inning are looming now. And Pedroia flies that one into right field. And Martinez there for the catch. And that will retire the side. But the Red Sox do get 4 runs, and they have pulled it within 5. 10-5 on the first major league home run by Andrew Benintendi. He is 2 for 3, a home run and a triple. By Xfinity. Owens went only 5 and charged with 8 earned runs in his spot start. Benintendi just belted his first career home run. Verlander went 6. He can win it. Now it's a 10-5 game. So the Red Sox get closer. Now check out the relay of the ball that Benintendi hit over the wall and is headed back to his locker.
Yeah, follow the dots, right? I mean, from one security guard to another. Now I'm going to walk it a little bit more. I'm going to touch it here. I'm going to rub it a little bit. Hand it over. And I think from that point it finally makes it to the dugout. And it was kind of lucky the way that landed for Benintendi. It landed in a spot where there were no fans. It was in that little area that used to be a bullpen.
Speedway is proud to be New England's first choice for value and convenience for every Red Sox homer. Speedway donates to Boston Children's Hospital. And now in August, get 10 cents off per gallon of gas at Speedway when you make a qualifying $3 merchandise purchase. Great moment for that 22-year-old. His first big league homer. So quite a memento to take away from Comerica Park here in Detroit. Tazawa stays on to pitch. And he'll square off against J.D. Martinez. And then Justin Upton. These two have done a ton of damage already today. They have combined for 8 RBIs. Martinez with a strikeout, a 2-run double, and another double, and he has scored twice. Last half of the 7th inning in Detroit. And if the Tigers do hang on and win the ball game, they'll split the series with the Red Sox. Tazawa last inning, first inning in the game, allowed 3 hits and 2 runs. And a 2-0 pitch to Martinez. Fouled away, and that caught a piece of his foot. Justin Wilson in the pen for Brad Ausmus as he has just started to warm up. Toronto still leading Cleveland. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning at Cleveland. It is 2-1. Seems like every time they play, it comes down to the last hitter.
I'll see if Cleveland's going to finish it. I'm like a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, they come from behind win. They were down 2. They tied it on a home run. They went over the wall and won it on an inside the park home run by Naquin. And that combination to tie a game in the 9th inning and then win it had never happened before in Major League history. Topped off by the inside to Parker. There's a mile-high pop-up into right field. Betts has all day to come on in. And he's got it. 1 out in 7th inning. Tonight at 10 on NESN Sports Today, Jerry will break down this game. Plus a report from Pat's camp. Tonight at 10 on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank.
Torey Lovullo's got that home run ball that was hit by Benintendi, and generally what's written on a ball like that, well, that could be a fake ball. Now we've known this to happen with Torey, where he'll make believe that's the ball he hit out of the ballpark, and he'll write some crazy message on there, and they'll give that ball to Benintendi, and he kind of looks at it and goes, what is this? And it's not the real baseball. The real baseball is you know, what you usually mark on it is the who you hit the home run off of, where you hit it, what the date was, and of course first major league home run. That's generally what is written on the official baseball. But I got a feeling that this one that Torey is writing on now, he's writing something very, well, can't say it on the air, but something that Benintendi's going to look at and go, what is this?
The 1-1. So you're saying there's a high degree of possibility that there may be some kind of vulgarity on there? Something well, off color?
Could be. I can't confirm or deny that. But it's going to be it's a long message, and he's going to say the baseball, and he's going to say thank you, and then he's going to be reading this long message that Torey's writing on there. That's really going to be not the baseball at all, and he's done that in the past.
3 balls and 1 strike on Upton, who has belted a pair of 3-run homers today. Now, will he also write something on the real ball itself eventually?
Yeah, on the real ball, somebody, I don't know who's in charge for the Red Sox, who's taking care of that. I should find out, and I will find out.
Fly ball well hit right center, but Jackie Bradley is back there to make that catch. Upton continues to swing a hot bat all of a sudden.
But generally on that first home run ball, what they'll write on it is You know, it's where it was hit, the date it was hit on, the pitcher it was hit off of, and of course your first major league home run, and that's generally what's on that baseball that is being relayed to the Red Sox dugout. It looks like the Olympics. Home run relay.
A relay. Sunday Smiles brought to you by Hair Cuttery, home of the Smile Back Guarantee. No small print, just big smiles.
Because Torrey's writing a book. He's just not putting those things on the baseball. He's writing a book.
Yeah, that was War and Peace. Here's McGee. He's gone 0 for 2 with a walk. 10-5 Detroit here in the last half of the 7th inning. And Tazawa looking for a bounce back inning after giving up 2 runs on 3 hits in the 6th. And a 1-1, a blooper foul out of play. Verlander went the first 6, and they got him a lot of runs before he stepped aside. Red Sox, however, got 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning to at least stick their toe back in it. 1-2. He chased that one up and out of the zone for strike 3. So Tazawa indeed gets them 1-2-3. We go to the 8th. 10-5 Detroit. Supporter of Stand Up to Cancer. We invite you to share your hashtag reasons to stand up by posting a photo or video of why you stand up to cancer and tag @CBS in Action. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, and Garen Austin with you back in Detroit. Red Sox have been getting outstanding starting pitching. It was not the case today, so they are down 10-5 as we go to the 8th inning. And the new pitcher for the Tigers is the left-hander Justin Wilson. 3-4 record, a .447 earned run average. He replaces Shane Green, the righty. Red Sox got to him for 4 runs last inning, including the 2-run homer by Benintendi. Xander Bogaerts will lead off the 8th. He is 0 for 3 on the day with a pop to short, a fly to center, and a strikeout. Got jammed there. Hey, the Cleveland Indians have gone in front of Toronto 3-2 in the 9th inning. David Ortiz on deck, and then Mookie Betts.
David Ortiz up next, maybe his last at bat in Detroit.
Yep, given the score, Red Sox down by 5. Fouled off himself, and he takes a seat quickly.
Well, we see about 4 or 5 of these every single game we do. When somebody takes one off the lower part of the body, whether it be the shin, the ankle. That time it looked like the inside of the ankle of that left leg for Bogaerts.
And nothing there.
A little ice on that after the game. Cut down on the swelling.
He's already smiling, already grinning, so a good sign there. You know he will be when we get on the plane. He always is. Always tremendously upbeat. Here comes the 0-2. And he chased it. Down he goes, strike 3.
That's one of the toughest swings you got to take after you get hit off the foot or the lower body of body, and then that next pitch. I mean, you half into thinking about the pain and you half into thinking about the pitch. And that pitch was a fastball, not a strike away from Bogaerts, and doesn't chase many of those. Nice ovation for Ortiz.
The fans recognize this will probably be it in this ballpark for Big Papi. And now a standing ovation. As he takes the ball. And it grows louder. Into the shift. And on to first base to get Big Papi. David 1 for 4 with a double. In a ballpark he has really loved to swing the bat in. 2 down for Mookie Betts. He has been quiet today, 0 for 4. 1 for 8 the last 2 games. A 10-5 Tiger lead here in the 8th. So Mookie's trying to keep alive his hitting streak, trying to push it to 9 in a row. A week ago today he was driving in 8 runs with home runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 5th innings with that 3-homer game. Today a fly to center strikeout. He has grounded out. He has made contact a couple of times. And the 2-0 pitch. 2-1.
By the way, we got word of that baseball for Benintendi. The home run ball has made its way back into the Red Sox clubhouse, and I'm sure that'll be presented for him on his locker when he walks in after the game, and he's going to think that's the ball until he starts reading it.
And reading it and reading it. A lot of stuff on that ball. Down and in. Mookie 0 for 3 in this one, and Abad throwing in the bullpen. With the score at 10-5 Detroit. Andy Ramirez on deck. And the left-hander's 3-1. And he walked him. So Mookie aboard for the first time. And Hanley will bat here now with 2 down. He singled his last time up. As he blooped one into right field, he's gone 1 for 3. Red Sox moving on to face the Rays at Tampa Bay tomorrow night, 7:10. David Price on the hill looking for his 12th win of the season. Red Sox will also have Porcello and Pomeranz pitching in the series. And a set by Wilson. Runner goes, and the pitch a little bit high, and Mookie Betts will be down to second base.
At this stage of the ball game, not even paying attention to Mookie Betts. That should probably go as not a stolen base for Betts.
Yep, defensive indifference. So no steal.
Right now they're talking over the signs. First time they've had a man at second base, and McCann going over the what set of signs they're going to use with Betts out there.
Well, a little 2-run homer here could make it pretty interesting. 2 down, 8th inning. And he has 16 home runs. He's driven in 76 runs. And lately he's been locked in. He looks at a strike. Hanley all season has been awfully good against lefties. .353, 7 home runs against southpaws. And we'll see another one of them tomorrow night in Blake Snell. The 1-1. Ten runs on 9 hits for Detroit, 5 runs on 7 hits for the Red Sox. Boston has only stranded 2 base runners, so there really haven't been many opportunities all day. In front of 31,032. The 2-1 is on the edge for a called strike. Hanley returning to the ball club for this series after 3 days away on bereavement leave in the Dominican Republic. When he left, he was swinging a very good bat. That has certainly been the case here in Detroit too on his return. He has Betts at second and 2 down. That one fouled away. If the Tigers win the series, it's a split of the 4 games. And they have K-Rod going.
Yeah, it's been a while since he worked in a ball game. What, the first game of this series?
Yeah, he pitched to Mookie Betts with runners at second and third in a 1-run game and 2 down. They elected to pitch to Mookie. He hit a wicked line drive that was caught by Kinsler and ended the ball game. Could very well have been a game winner for the Red Sox, and certainly would have put the Sox in the lead. 2-2 now, and a swing and a miss, strike 3. Red Sox will strand a runner at second base. We're in the middle of the 8th inning in Detroit. 10-5 Tigers. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By buyatoyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. And by Sullivan Tire and Complete Auto Service. Last half of inning number 8 here from Detroit. The Red Sox have been knocked around today to the tune of 10 runs and 9 hits, including 2 3-run homers by Justin Upton, who had been slumping. He is no longer. Fernando Abad out of the bullpen, where it's been up and down, certainly for the left-hander. A 3.46 ERA at the moment, a 1-6 record. And what role he's going to perform the rest of the way is an open question. He'll get the bottom third of the order here, and McCann, Saltalamacchia, and Ibar in the 8th. So he replaces Junichi Tazawa, who went a couple of innings, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. McCann 1 for 2, a single and a run scored. He's also walked. That was at the hand of Henry Owens, who walked 5 men, 1 intentionally in his 5 innings. He gave up 8 runs. Red Sox had intended, of course, to use Rodriguez today, but he told John Farrell around 5:45 yesterday in the evening that he would not be able to pitch today because of the hamstring. That's a mile-high fly ball into left center field, but not deep enough, and Jackie Bradley with the catch. And McCann is gone, 1 away.
Well, that just sounded good off the bat by McCann, but falling short again on that very deep part of the ballpark.
1 man out. Saltalamacchia now. He'll bat right-handed. He's walked, popped up, and struck out. Salty's hit 11 home runs, but scuffling along at 196. Won a World Series ring, of course, with the Red Sox in 2013. As Ryan is up in their bullpen, the lefty. Since leaving Boston, played for Miami for a season and a half. Arizona last year, where his batting average recovered. He hit .251. And now with Detroit. And on a ball club that expects to compete for a postseason spot. At the moment, 7 games behind Cleveland in the American League Central, and they just can't beat the Indians. The Indians are 11-1 against them. It's a final, by the way. Cleveland has knocked off Toronto 3-2. Could wind up being a big help for the Red Sox, because even if the Red Sox lose this game and they're down by 5 runs late, they would still remain a half game behind Toronto going into play tomorrow.
Right now, Baltimore's got rain going on against Houston. That's been going on for a long time.
The 3-2, and he walks him. So Saltalamacchia takes a free pass for the second time in this one. He comes with 1 down in the bottom of the 8th inning and brings up Ibar, the number 9 hitter. He's had a good day with a double and a single. They'll bring on Romine to run for Saltalamacchia at first base. The Red Sox were hoping for quite a bit more out of Henry Owens today than what they got. 8 earned runs over 5. Rodriguez had been so sharp in his last outing. Just about everybody thought it was the best he had looked, you know, over a 4-inning period. He had terrific stuff. Little shot into left field. That'll drop down for a base hit. So Ibar has his third hit today. Runners at first and second.
Now you had him up in that 2 spot for the first 3 games of this series. Didn't do much offensively. You put him down in the 9 spot, and he's got 3 hits, a double and 2 singles. Actually got jammed a little bit on that fastball right there, but flares it out into left field for the base hit.
That will bring up Kinsler. A walk, a fly out, another fly out, and a ground ball to the first baseman. 279, 22 home runs for the second baseman. And Abad firing and drops it in for strike 1. Kinsler's the guy who started their 8th inning rally on Thursday from 3-1 down with a leadoff single. Roller foul. Then Ibar doubled, Cabrera singled, Victor Martinez singled, J.D. Martinez walked. Eventually Romine would take ball 4 with the bases loaded, and they would score 3 times on 4 hits and 2 walks and take a 4-3 lead, and eventually they would win that game. The Red Sox bouncing back to win the next 2, including 3-2 last night. Game that ended after midnight because of the rain delays. But the Tigers in this one exploded for 5 runs in the 3rd inning and 3 more in the 5th to take a big lead. Sox bounced back a little bit with 4 in the 7th inning, but still trailing by 5. Romine is second, Ibar at first for the Tigers. And the 2-2. He went for the downs on that, came up empty. He strikes out.
And 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Abad that time to pick up the strikeout against Kinsler. Up and away from Kinsler. So with 1 more strikeout today for him, he now has 99 on the season as he chases that fastball up and away from him.
It's a lineup not afraid to strike out.
Yeah, they walk a lot, but they also do strike out a lot.
Collins with a fly ball to left. Benintendi backing up with room there though, and on the track he's got it to retire the side. They strand 2. We go to the 9th in Detroit. 10-5 Tigers. Ninth inning, the Red Sox need 5 to tie, and Detroit will bring on a new reliever. Kyle Ryan makes an appearance and will do so against Bradley, Leon, and Shaw. He's pitched well with a .295 earned run average. Romine takes over at first base for Saltalamacchia. Jackie Bradley today 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in the 7th when the Sox had their best offensive output of the game with 4 runs. They did that on 4 hits, including a 2-run homer by Andrew Benintendi, his first major league home run. And Ryan ready to work and deals strike 1. Red Sox, after last night's win, had moved to a season high 16 above the 500 mark. A half game behind Toronto. Toronto has lost to the Indians. That's a swing and a miss on the appeal. Honora said he went. Red Sox were going to be up against it today no matter what, facing Justin Verlander, who's been pitching very, very well since the 1st of July. In line to pick up his 2nd win against Boston this season.
Yeah, you might have saw a totally different game had Rodriguez been able to pitch today. That would have been a heck of a matchup the way Rodriguez has been pitching in Verlander.
Verlander went 6. Got a lot of run support. Swing and a miss, and Jackie Bradley fans. He is 1 for 4 today, 1 away in the Sox 9th.
Yeah, just keeping that fastball away from Bradley Jr. when he get a couple of strikes on him and gets him to chase it. He wanted it inside, but it just tails down and away, as you can see there, or down into the inside corner at 89 miles an hour to pick up the strikeout.
Sandy Leon with another multi-hit game. He has 2 singles. The last one drove in a run. 2 for 3 today. His average is actually up 6 points today, up to 389. He takes a ball in. Travis Shaw on deck. Sandy hit a home run from the right side as the DH on Thursday, a day after homering from the left side as a catcher in Baltimore. It's a high fly to left field, fairly well hit, but Upton will come in on it. That's the 2nd out in the 9th inning. And a reminder, tomorrow night 7:10 game 1 at the Trop. David Price on the bump. First of 4 between the Sox and the Rays.
Now maybe an opportunity for the Red Sox to take that leapfrog in the first place as they play Tampa Bay, who has struggled all season long.
Travis Shaw 0 for 3, although he did score a run and he drove in a run last time up on a fielder's choice. He looks at strike 1. Tigers 10, Red Sox 5 with 2 down in the 9th. And Ryan's 0-1. He slings it outside.
It'll be a little tough to pick up. The left-handed hitter throws across his body.
The 1-1 offering. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You see where he steps with his front foot. He steps almost heading toward the Red Sox dugout, and it's got to be very difficult to pick up that pitch as a left-handed hitter.
Check swing, the appeal, no. 2-2. So the Sox are still alive here in Detroit. Benintendi on deck. And the 2-2 to Shaw. All filled up now. Ryan with a payoff pitch. And he walked him. A base runner for Boston. And Travis Shaw trots to first with the walk. So Benintendi will hit again. And he's had a nice day with a triple and a 2-run homer. In each case, the first time he's done that in the big leagues. Andrew back up to 328. He had hit a bit of a snag, but some nice swings today. He looks at ball one.
Kind of amazing how the pitcher, he's got a 5-run lead here in the ninth, and he starts him off with a breaking ball. You'd think he'd just throw the fastball, try to get a strike on him. Gets ahead, then maybe get him to chase the breaking ball.
Pedroia would be next. Shaw not being held at first base. He runs. Ground ball toward the middle, gently hit. Kinsler up and over and gets him, and that's the ball game. It ends 10-5, so the Red Sox split the series 2-2 in Detroit, and TC are now 5-2 on the trip and heading to Tampa Bay for 4 games.